Hi there, Alison here with another Cab Franc du jour. We're in Chinon today and we are looking at the Béatrice and Pascal Lamebrt 2018 Les Terrasses Chinon. The winery was established in 1987 by Béatrice and her husband Pascal. They have 18 hectares of vineyards in the commune of Cravant-Les-Côteaux. They've been farming their vineyards organically now for 20 years and they got their biodynamic certification in 2005. Now today I want to look at the Cravant-Les-Côteaux commune in a bit more detail in terms of the soils. So we're situated here on the right bank, that's the north side of the Vienne River, and we're around 10 kilometers directly southeast of the village of Chinon. Now there's 3 distinct soils in this commune, but for the sake of time today, we're just going to look at one. So in Cravant-Les-Côteaux, this is where the landscape of the Chinon appellation changes a little bit. So just past the Chinon village, the Vienne River Valley kind of opens up, and these alluvial plains that we see flanked on either side of the Vienne River tend to become a bit more pronounced. So these plains, which are known locally as Les Terrasses, is where we find these sandy, gravelly soils. These soils were formed around 15,000 years ago, and they're essentially eroded sedimentary materials that were deposited here via the flowing Vienne River. Now they, of course, have some very distinct characteristics. First and foremost, they're well-draining soils, so they don't tend to retain moisture to the same degree that clay does. They're also the soils that warm up the most quickly in the springtime, so they are the bud break is a bit sooner, so that makes them a bit more susceptible to spring frost, but they will be the vineyards that are typically harvested a bit sooner. The soils are, of course, a bit more fertile, so we see slightly higher yields here. And then finally, while we do have that terrony and chalky bedrock, the soils are deeper here, so it takes longer for the roots to get down to that chalk. So we don't tend to see the same influence of the chalk in the finished wine. Now with this wine, the Les Terrasses, we're looking at 10 to 30-year-old vines. The fruit was hand-harvested, destemmed, fermented in concrete with no pigeage techniques at all done on the wine. So what can we expect from a Cab Franc that's grown on sandy, gravelly soil? So for me, I always get a nose that's a bit more open and lifted. And for me on this wine, this is absolutely doing that. There's this wonderful kind of aromatic profile to the wine. I'm getting some beautiful violet notes, but it's quite fine and delicate. I can almost, in a weird way, visualize like fine sand granules in my head when I smell this wine. The fruit profile is quite beautiful. It has this wonderful sort of sweet, pure fruit profile, like Luxardo maraschino cherries or something like that. There's a little bit of forest berry there too. And it's balanced nicely by the pyrazines, which are sort of kind of equal footing as the fruit profile. And they come through for me as a bit of a cedar note, maybe even a touch of bay leaf here too. And the pronounced aromatics come through beautifully on the palate. But the texture here is really particular, and I get this on sand, is there's a wonderful supple mouthfeel. There's like sort of satiny tannins that sort of fill the mouth in a really particular way. The tannins here are not super high. They're just nicely in balance with the fruit as well. Yeah, the acidity is lovely and fresh. Great cleansing sort of profile to the acidity, and the fruits come through beautifully too. They're a bit more dark on the fruit on the palate than they are on the nose. I'm getting a bit more blue fruited notes, but really lovely fruit profile. And in general, this wine is not super complex, but nor is it supposed to be. You know, this wine is really about pleasure, it's about ease, it's about drinkability, quaffability, and I think it delivers that in spades, and I absolutely love it. If you've had this wine before, let me know what you thought of it in the comments below, and of course, as always, I will be back again soon with another wine. Cheers.